audible and slides are visible to you?
Yes, very
Yes.
excellent.
Okay, so I hope so. We are sorry for the delay. Everybody has received the lecture. Shall we start, or do you need 1 minute to adjust yourself?
Can we start? No problem.
Oh, okay. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As we have taken up excitable tissue and that we have studied about nerve and muscle, this is the continuation lecture for the excitable tissue. And by now we all know what do we mean by excitable tissue, a tissue that can undergo depolarization and repolarization. Jama, they are known as action potential. That is an excitable tissue. So we will just continue with the series. Today we shall be explaining the mechanism of neuron action potential, the synapse. We'll be talking about mainly neuromuscular junction and excitatory postsynaptic potentials and inhibitory postsynaptic potentials. So right here, what is a synapse? As you can see right here, this is a neuron. This is another neuron. This is another neuron. So this and this is the fourth neuron. So what we see is one neuron communicates with the other neuron. And the place where they communicate is called as synapse. So in this diagram, they are communicating at various places. So these are the synapse. For a synaptic transmission to happen, neurotransmitters are released when the impulse reaches the synaptic knob. And as the nerve impulse reaches the synaptic knob, calcium channels open and allows calcium to move into the synaptic knob. And once the calcium moves in, it allows the neurotransmitters to be released. Say, for instance, this is one neuron, and just let us, this is neuron number 1 or presynaptic neuron. And this is neuron number 2, that is postsynaptic neuron. By definition, we already know that where they are meeting, the meeting place, the communication place where one neuron communicates with the other is called as synapse. The impulses are traveling from presynaptic neuron, that is neuron number 1, to postsynaptic neuron, neuron number 2. This is the way the impulses are moving. Having said this, as the action potential is moving through this, what it does is, or action potential is nothing but a voltage change. This voltage change will cause calcium channels hina maujood in the presynaptic neuron to open. Once the calcium channel open, I'm saying channel has a gate for calcium, kathir amount of calcium will get in. And once kathir amount of calcium gets in, it causes these bags of neurotransmitter right here. These bags of neurotransmitter to these bags of neurotransmitter, what they cause to release. Okay, these bags of neurotransmitter get released. So that is an idea about these are bags of neurotransmitters, as you can see this one. Okay, these are synaptic vesicles. To be very particular, these are called as bags of neurotransmitters or synaptic vesicles. Once the calcium is needed, calcium is lazim needed to release them. If no calcium gets in, they cannot get released. Once calcium gets in, these are released. What are these? Neurotransmitters. Finally, what do? These, the postsynaptic neuron has got receptors. Postsynaptic neuron has got receptors. So lazim, these chemicals can come and bind to the receptor. Once this happens, this will cause an electricity change in neuron number 2. This is neuron number 2, postsynaptic neuron, this one. This is neuron number 1, presynaptic neuron. This is how the impulses are moving in this direction. The electricity is coming. It causes calcium to get in the presynaptic neuron. It causes the synaptic vesicle to release chemical. These chemical bind to the receptor phi maujood in postsynaptic neuron, that is neuron number 2. Once these chemicals bind to the receptor, they bring an electricity change inside the other neuron. This is how synaptic transmission happens. Synaptic transmission happens in lazim in one direction. It cannot happen in both the direction. It always happens in one direction. That is what you should be knowing. Some
Excuse
neuro
what does that mean, one direction?
one direction means from presynaptic neuron to postsynaptic neuron, always from neuron number 1 to neuron number 2. Somebody asks, doctor, can it happen that we send a current this way? Is it possible?
No, it's not possible.
Why?
Because it should be from neuron number 1 to neuron number 2.
Yes, but why? Both are neuron.
Because
This is a neuron. This is neuron number 1, and this is neuron number 2. Okay, both are neuron, have same properties, but why it is not possible to send it the other way? Because for the impulses to move, as you see, you should have neurotransmitter. So neurotransmitter is maujood in this end. Also, you should have receptors. Receptors maujood hina. Okay. So
yes.
once the chemicals get released, it binds to the receptor, and then the electricity change happens.
Doctor,
Yes.
who opens the calcium channels?
Voltage.
The voltage changes.
Voltage change. This is voltage gated calcium channel. Okay. Just see this diagram. Direction of nerve impulse. That means the electrical signal is traveling this way. Once the electricity is traveling this way, is there a voltage change happening on the surface of this membrane? Yes. Calcium channel phi maujood. If the voltage change reaches right here, will the calcium channel open? Yes. That's the idea. Some neurotransmitters and representative action. What do they do? Some of the neurotransmitters, where are they present and what do they do? That is what we will be knowing. The main ones that you have to lazim know, where are they maujood and what do they do, is acetylcholine, norepinephrine. Okay. And these are the two mains for information. Yes, some gases can also behave as a neurotransmitter, like nitric oxide. Okay. Some amino acid also can behave as a neurotransmitter, like GABA and glutamate. Okay. Some neuropeptides has a proteins maujood in the central nervous system. Very important. Substance P and encapsulins. Okay. But most talked about are these. These are some informative ones that you can remember. So having said this, okay, so it is not playing. So we will just move on and explain it. So you can get such videos on the YouTube. Just you can search neuromuscular junction videos. Okay, neuromuscular junction videos. Cell membrane potential. We know that potassium ions are major intracellular positive ions and sodium are major extracellular positive ions. and the distribution of these ions is balanced by a pump called a sodium potassium ATPase pump. Okay. And what does it transport? So we have just given a mnemonic yesterday. What does it transport? Does it transport sodium towards inside or outside?
Sodium outside.
Sodium outside.
Potassium inside.
Yes. So this is just a revision and repetition. We don't go that way. Neuromuscular transmission. As the ism says, neuromuscular transmission. What do we mean by neuromuscular transmission? Before that, you should understand a neuromuscular junction. I would say they have just, there is a bit of reshuffle of slides. So that's what we have been provided. Anyways, neuromuscular junction right here. Do you see a neuron coming and attaching? One neuron was talking to the other neuron. Neuron 1 was sending impulses to neuron 2, was sending impulses to another neuron 3, that way. One neuron transmitting the impulse was through the place where these two were talking was called as a synapse. But what if a neuron, this is a neuron. What if a neuron is talking to a muscle? What if neuron is talking to a muscle? The junction where the neuron sends information to the muscle is called as neuromuscular junction. I repeat, when neuron sends information to the muscle, the junction where they meet is called as neuromuscular junction. Okay, so lazim, the neuron will have an axon terminal. Okay. Synaptic end will be touching the muscle. Okay, and there will be a muscle right here. So in this diagram, this will be a neuron. And this will be a muscle. Okay. And they are talking to each other. The program is simple and same. As the impulses are coming down, electricity is coming down, there will be calcium channels opening. Because in the neuron, the mechanism will be the same. Calcium channel will open. Once the calcium channel open, the bags of chemical will get released. Do you see the bag of chemical is getting released? Okay. A specific thing is the chemical that is released right here is mainly acetylcholine. Okay. Once this happens, these chemicals bind to these receptors, as you can see in this diagram, these receptors. What are these receptors? These are acetylcholine is binding to the receptors that opens up the channel. So these are the receptors that acetylcholine binds and opens the channel. What do you call such a receptor that are ligand binds and opens the channel? One was voltage gated receptors, one was ungated receptors. Did we heard about a ligand gated receptor?
Yes, of course.
Yes. This is a ligand gated receptor. That means it needs a chemical to open the channel. And what is that chemical, Hina? This chemical is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine, when it binds, it opens up the gate. And this can be a gate for anyone, like for, in this case, it is for the sodium. And once the sodium will get in, it would again cause voltage change, Hina, in kullu muscle. Okay. The voltage change will happen. And if the voltage change is kathir, then it would bring about a depolarization and then badena repolarization. So this is exactly similar fashion as was happening in synapse. Now this is happening in the neuromuscular junction, a neuron talking to muscle. Now, since we know what a neuromuscular junction is, how does neuromuscular transmission would happen? Action potential travels down the axon and ends on the presynaptic motor axon. Okay. And there are voltage gated calcium channels, the same stuff that we have told. This is talking about the neuron that is ending on a muscle. Once the calcium gets in, okay, there is release of acetylcholine. Once the release happens, the acetylcholine diffuses into the postsynaptic membrane, and combination of acetylcholine with cholinergic nicotinic receptor. The receptor that is used is a nicotinic type. Cholinergic receptors can be of two types. One is mainly it used to be muscarinic, but here it is nicotinic. The other can be muscarinic. I will write the spelling. M-U-S, muscarinic. C-R, muscarinic. Muscarinic receptors. Cholinergic receptors are of two types, has a nicotinic, has a muscarinic. Okay. In kullu body, the cholinergic receptor मौजूद is muscarinic. Nicotinic receptors are मौजूद in very special case, and one case is neuromuscular junction. In neuromuscular junction, you do not have a muscarinic receptor that is free मौजूद in kullu body, but instead we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a nicotinic receptor. That is what you should remember. Both the receptors are cholinergic. Both the receptors are parasympathetic. Both the receptors respond to acetylcholine, but they are different type of receptors. Having said this, what happens further? The combination of acetylcholine with nicotinic receptors, this opens up ligand-gated channel and results in increased movement of mainly sodium and potassium. Once there is influx of sodium, it causes local depolarization. And since it is local, because it is just happening at that place, that's why it is called as end plate potential. Because it is just happening at that place where the ligand-gated channel has opened up. Causing the end plate potential is causing depolarization of the areas of muscle membrane near the end plate where the things are happening. Having said this, synaptic potential can be of two types. One is the excitatory postsynaptic potential, one is the inhibitory. Both are graded because the more the number of channel will open, more will be the potential, more will be the voltage change. That's what we mean to say. The excitatory one, as the ism says excitatory, it is going to build up depolarization. It will depolarize the membrane. Okay. Because the ism is excitatory. The one that is inhibitory potential, lazim it is going to do the opposite, hyperpolarize the membrane. Okay. How can you depolarize the membrane? By bringing positive ion. So you have to open positive channels. How can you hyperpolarize the membrane? That means make the membrane move away from depolarization. Okay. You can do it by opening another positive channel, that is potassium channel. This will cause potassium to move out of cell. If you open Katir potassium channel, this will cause potassium to move out of cell. If potassium moves out of cell, inside of the cell becomes more negative. Can you excite this? Can you excite this cell easily? No, because now it is more negative. So I would need more voltage to make it positive. It is same as saying I would need more voltage to make it depolarize. That's why it is called as inhibitory potential. Action potential of postsynaptic neuron is more likely, more possible. Yes, because in this case, sodium was getting in. This cell is more positive. So there are more chances of action potential happening. In this case, potassium was going out. The cell is more negative. So there are less chances of depolarization to happen. If there is Murphy depolarization, there will be no repolarization. If there is no depolarization, there will be no repolarization. If there is no depolarization and repolarization, there will be no action potential. So there are less chances of action potential happening in inhibitory postsynaptic potential. A small voltage change happening near the ligand gated channel where the membrane hyperpolarized because of opening of potassium channels.
Doctor,
Yes, please.
I remember in the last lecture about this, in the IPSP, it said that an influx of Cl minus causes this, not potassium.
Influx of
Cl,
Chloride.
It-
chloride.
chloride also, but potassium is the potassium works right here.
So
in the
both
inhibit-
work.
both, yes.
Okay.
So this is about excitatory and inhibitory potentials. For the neuromuscular junction, we have explained what do we mean by it. This is the basic anatomical structure of a sarcomere. Have you taken up sarcomere with the anatomy people?
Yeah, I think it's the membrane that covers the muscle cell, muscle fiber, right?
Sarcolemma, that is sarcolemma. Sarcomere is one particular, if you see the ultrastructure of the muscle. Have you studied the ultrastructure of the muscle?
Yeah, we have 16 and
Yes.
You must have talked, they must have talked about actin, troponin,
Yeah.
tropomyosin.
Yeah, he talks about.
Yes. So basically, a sarcomere is made up of thin filaments, that is actin, and thick filaments, that is myosin. And once they come near each other, that is how the contraction happens. A sarcomere is defined as the space or the unit between two Z lines that form the functional unit of muscle. Okay, because these are the, and it is having the filaments, thick ones and thin ones. Thin ones are called as actin, thick ones are called as myosin, and both of them slide over each other during contraction. Okay, so that is what you should, it is nicely given in books, so you can just go through those diagrams. Molecular mechanism of muscle contraction, how the muscle contraction happens. For the muscle contraction to happen, this will be a better diagram explaining everything that we have studied till now. So we will go with this one. This is our neuron. This is our muscle. A neuron communicate. There is an electricity, excitant potential, depolarization, and repolarization traveling in the neuron. As it travels, it opens up calcium channel here. Calcium gets in. Everybody keep noting. Calcium gets in. What it does, it releases the bags of acetylcholine mawjood in the neuron. This place here, this is what type of a junction? Anybody?
Neuromuscular.
Neuromuscular.
Neuromuscular. Neuron has a muscle, neuromuscular junction. Once the acetylcholine is released right here, it binds to what type of gate? Voltage gate, ligand gate, or
Ligand.
hug gate?
Ligand.
Ligand gate. And it allows sodium and potassium to move depending upon what type of voltage change is present. Once this happens, most of the time sodium gets in and there is an action potential now generated inside the muscle. This action potential travels along the membrane of the muscle. This is the membrane of the muscle called as sarcolemma. The important thing about covering of the muscle is generally a cell has got a very clean cut membrane, something this way. This is a normal cell. But in case of a muscle cell, the membrane has got dips. The cell membrane has got these dips. Those are called as tubule. They form tubule-like structure. So the action potential moves along this tubule, and the tubule-like structure are very much connected to one internal organ, that is the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is storehouse for calcium. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is storehouse for calcium. Now you know that the voltage is traveling along this. This stimulates the this voltage also stimulates the sarcoplasmic reticulum, okay, to release the calcium. Action potential triggers calcium release from the terminal end of sarcoplasmic reticulum. Kathir amount of calcium now fi mawjood inside the muscle. Kathir amount of calcium fi mawjood inside the muscle, because maximum calcium has been released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. This calcium comes and binds to a protein on the muscle that is called as troponin. Once the troponin binds to calcium, there are changes happening in the muscle right here. And what it does is it removes the blocking action of tropomyosin to open up active sites. Active sites are opened up on actin. Actin filaments, do you know? We had actin filaments, but its active site was blocked. Once the active site was blocked, myosin cannot bind to actin. The idea is binding of actin and myosin. The idea is binding actin and myosin, but the site should be free, like it is kind of a handshake. So obviously, if you are holding on to stuff like you are entering the college and you are holding in one of your hand, there is a bag, and on the other one, there is a mobile. Can your friend do a handshake? No. Similarly, actin site should be free for the myosin to make a handshake. That is called in medical term as actin-myosin cross bridge formation. Simple. How can actin sites be free? It can be free because what was covering the actin site was tropomyosin. And once the calcium enters, it causes changes in the troponin, and this causes tropomyosin to move away, and this causes actin to get free, actin site to get free. Once it is free, myosin can bind to actin. This is our myosin. The other side, this is our blue one, is the actin. What happens now? It binds, okay? And it binds and it also moves. It binds and it also moves.
Doctor,
Yes, please.
can you repeat point number 3?
Point number 3 is the action potential comes, and this action potential causes release of kathir amount of calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. In our muscle, we have got different type of proteins. The two regulatory proteins मौजूद are troponin and tropomyosin. Whom do they regulate? They regulate the actin. The calcium binds to troponin, okay, and it changes in the shape. Once it changes in the shape, it causes tropomyosin to shift away. Both are regulatory protein, troponin and tropomyosin. There is change in the shape of troponin that causes the shift of tropomyosin. Once the tropomyosin shifts, active sites on actin are exposed. Once this happens, myosin gets a chance to make a handshake with actin. And not only the handshake, myosin also pulls up actin. Once it pulls up, that is how the muscle contraction happens. And this all was possible because of sarcoplasmic reticulum releasing the calcium. Once the calcium is modular, this action will keep on happening. So there is that the removal of calcium by active transport after the action potential ends. So one has to remove the calcium. The calcium has to be pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum once the action potential and the pull of actin and myosin is over. What it does is tropomyosin blockage restores the blocking action and everything restores to the previous one. The myosin gets detached. The actin in the actin, there are two other proteins, regulatory proteins, that is troponin and tropomyosin. They come to their own place and the actin sites are now blocked. If the actin sites are blocked, no more myosin can bind to actin. This will be again possible if there is a calcium. Then what it would do is it would change the shape of troponin. Troponin will cause tropomyosin to shift. This will cause actin sites getting exposed. This will cause myosin to bind to actin to make a myosin cross bridge. And this will cause also myosin to pull up actin. And that would cause the contraction of the muscle. So that is an idea about whole this is neuromuscular transmission. And this is electrical phenomenon that we have talked about. And this is how the muscle contraction happens. That's why it is called as has a excitation with electricity, contraction, mechanical event happening, coupling, when they both behave as a couple, excitation, contraction, coupling. If this is phi module, then this will happen. So they are as a couple. That is the meaning of excitation, contraction, coupling. They mean to ask you about the neuromuscular transmission and they need to ask you about muscle contraction. So just you will read, then you will get it more clearly, inshallah, from the books. Coming to the motor unit, concept of a motor unit. In the muscle, we happen to see there are thousands of muscle cells. The is muscle fiber. This is same as muscle cell. Everybody please note it down. The ism fiber means same as muscle cell. Now what we see is this is one motor neuron, and how many muscle cell it is supplying? 2. This is another motor neuron, and how many muscle cell it is supplying? 3. Motor unit, as it says unit, that means as a family. So in a family, there is a neuron, a Wahid neuron supplying some muscle fiber, muscle cells. Okay. So this one is supplying 2. So this is a large motor unit or a small motor unit as compared to 3.
Small.
Small. And this one, as it is supplying more number of fibers, so it is a big family.
Allowed.
Well, okay, so this is a larger motor unit. This one is a Kabir family. This one is a Sagir family. And by family, I mean motor unit. This one is a big motor unit, Kabir motor unit. This one is a Sagir motor unit. Both of them, if they are brought to action, who will generate more force?
Number 1.
Zikr one.
Motor unit number 1, because it has got more number of muscle fiber. More the number of muscle fiber, more will be the force of contraction. Simple. So that is an idea about motor unit. Has a motor unit same jama as a motor neuron plus muscle fibers it supplies. A Wahid, important is this one, a Wahid motor neuron plus any number of muscle fibers it supplies. This is known as a motor unit. Okay, some people get confused in exam. A motor unit is about a Wahid muscle fiber getting supplied by motor neuron. Option number A. Option number B, a Wahid motor neuron supplying Wahid muscle fiber. Option number B. Option number C, a Wahid motor neuron supplying any number of muscle fibers. Okay, so that way they keep on asking some of the questions. So this is simple, that we know. All muscle fibers innervated, all the muscle fibers innervated by a single nerve fiber is called as a motor unit. Motor unit can be small, okay, and can be large. Okay, not much into this. So this is just an introductory concept about motor unit. What you should be knowing about excitable tissue is definitely the depolarization. I'm just talking from the previous lecture. What are excitable tissue? What do you mean by depolarization? What do you mean by repolarization? What do you mean by action potential? Okay. And in that series, you will tell us what a synapse is and what a neuromuscular transmission is and what is excitation contraction coupling. That means we have also included the muscle contraction in detail. So these are the stuff that you should read from your books. So fine, we also have a new topic. So Do you need a break or something, 2 minutes, or shall we continue?
Doctor, I have a